Good afternoon, good evening, Harlem and Harlems of the world. I am Terri Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News. And as you know, Harlem Network News, as many of you know, Harlem Network News is a media platform that started at the onset of COVID, and we are still here. We are an essential service, really bringing news and information to Harlem and Harlems of the world, and in oftentimes our stories are not covered. So it's very, very critical. Or if they are covered, we're really not getting the full and real picture from the community. So it's extremely critical, the work that Harlem Network News does. So we are very, very grateful to still be here. And today we have a really uh, valued show. We have with us LeeOlive Tucker, who really is our Harlem Diva songstress. Say hello to Harlem Network News, LeeOlive,
Good
please.
afternoon, Harlem Network News and all the Harlems of the world. And thank you, Terry Wisdom, for the opportunity to speak to all of our people.
Okay, well, welcome, LeeOlive. And before we dive into the interview with our Harlem Diva, LeeOlive Tucker, I just want to take a moment to just speak about a few things that are going on in Harlem. I would be amiss in Harlem's of the world. Obviously, we just had our Democratic primary, and I want to give some clap ups, some kudos, some shout outs to Jordan Wright, who basically took the race in the assembly for District 70, which is Central Harlem. Jordan was the campaign manager for Dr. Yusef Salaam, chief of staff for Dr. Yusef Salaam, and a young Harlem man, the son of Keith Wright, the grandson of Cut 'em Loose Bruce. So he's in there and ready to fight for Harlem. And it was a very powerful race, but a lot of the public officials, old guard, new guard, got behind Jordan, and they are working together for one Harlem. That's what's going on here. Our assembly member, Reverend Al Taylor, won that assembly district. So they're side by side, neck and neck, gonna make it all happen. And that's on the state side. And in East Harlem, Eddie Gibbs, Assembly member Eddie Gibbs, won his race. And Eddie Gibbs is also someone, just like Dr. Yusef Salaam, a council person, who had been a convicted person and came out and won his race. This is a second or third term for him.
Good,
But
good.
up in the Bronx and Westchester, we got to see how we're going to regroup and re-rally, because Congressman Jamal Bowman was taken out. And basically, a lot of this had to do um, with what is going on in Israel and Gaza and some of the pacts, Israeli and Jewish pacts. So we've got to look at that. We truly have to look at that. Bowman was a very progressive Democrat who really spoke out on the Israel-Gaza situation. He actually went to Gaza, saw apartheid with his own eyes, in terms of what the circumstances were, the conditions were, and spoke out on it. And it appears, for just that kind of thing. And also because the district at this point is gerrymandered, it's the Bronx, it's part of Westchester. And one of the pro Israel outside groups actually dumped nearly $15 million into a campaign for George Latimer, an executive of Westchester, who won that race. So we got to look at that. We got to stand firm. We got to know what time it is out here. And that is where we are. I also just want to give prayers. I just found out today a very close friend of mine, godmother of my daughter, who I started my media career with at Children's Television Workshop. I just learned that she passed away, and that is in the person of Lois Jane Fortune, known as Tippy. She was amazing and a Harlemite. So we're going to actually share and do something on Tippy. They have a memorial coming up for her. So that's all the real, grassroots news and information here in Harlem. And I could start speaking about the debate, but that's a whole nother conversation. We're going to tackle that by itself. I encourage everybody to watch the debate, and then we need to have a talk so we can see how we move. But let's move forward with Sister LeeOlive Tucker. LeeOlive has some events coming up. The first one is going to be some jazz at Jackie Robinson Park.
Well, just before we get to that, I just want to say a shout out to all of us in the village of Harlem who have contributed to the education and the success of all the beautiful graduates I have seen on the streets of Harlem in the last 2 weeks. I have seen everybody from people graduating from kindergarten to people graduating from college to people with master's degrees coming out of Columbia and City College. And it's all just so beautiful, and it lifts my heart to see how many people are actually becoming educated and will hopefully be impervious to any more seasons of lies and manipulation by anyone else in the future. Because as they say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And what we saw 8 years ago will tell you that there's a lot of people who are willing to fall for anything. So,
all right. Well, thank you for that. LeeOlive, so much going on in the village of Harlem, and I want to shout out all the graduates, particularly the graduates at Mahalia Jackson Elementary and Middle School, which I, had the honor of touching a few lives there. And also, as she said, all the graduates, it's encouraging.
And my granddaughter, who graduated from 8th grade at Wadley, she's going to be going up to high school.
Let's go. It's very important. Knowledge is power, and that's a whole nother show in itself too. Because truly, particularly in District 5, I have witnessed that separate but not equal education continues. There are very few white students in the public schools. In 20 schools, I have seen 5 white kids. So there's something wrong with that picture, and that's a picture that needs to be investigated. And we know that 70 years ago, we had, laws that took separate but not equal off the books. But here it is alive and well in Harlem. So we got to stand firm. And also the fact that a lot of the asylum seeker students who are living downtown are being dumped into District 5 in Harlem. So there's something wrong with that.
That is very
not
strange.
that we don't want the asylum seekers, but we can't manage what we have going on up here. And the support needs to happen for those students as well who are not speaking English and don't have the support to help them. This takes away from everybody's education. So real talk, you heard it here on Harlem Network News. Let's go. So LeeOlive, would you share a little bit about what's getting ready to happen on this Sunday?
What's getting ready to happen this Sunday? It's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody should just come out and enjoy themselves on Sunday, this Sunday, the Sunday before the 4th of July weekend, because this coming Thursday is what? The 4th of July. So we're going to just have to celebrate this Sunday, and we're going to have everything from puppets. Hi, my name is Cheetah. And we're going to have puppets for the children. We're going to have gospel to bring people into the park after church at 1 o'clock. We're going to have DJ Kenny supplying that. We're going to have me doing a set of jazz around 2:30. And then we're going to have the puppet show for the kids and the family.
All right.
And then we're going to have African dancing and drumming between about 1:30 and 2:30. Then I'm going to do my set. And then there's going to be the puppet show. And then there's going to be a set of rock and roll and rock and soul with the Captain and the Brand New Gypsies Band. And then I'll come back on with them and we'll do a grand finale of I Will Rise Up, the song by Andra Day. And we'll go into Purple Rain and do a tribute to Prince. So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. Love, joy, peace, and energy will be being served. So come and get you some. Bring an umbrella, bring a chair, because it's at the band shell. So there's not very much shade over there. We don't want you to come over there and get excited and don't drink your water and have a heat stroke because you're dancing in the sunlight. Bring a cold one, a chair, and an umbrella for the sun, and we'll be there to serve love, peace, joy, and happiness to everybody who comes out on Sunday. It's a free concert. It will be fun. Please do come out. Jackie Robinson Band Shell, 148th and Bradhurst Avenue.
Okay, I love it. And I give a shout out to Sonia Simmons over there, who has the Jackie Robinson Conservancy and works very hard with a lot of things in the community, including fresh fruits and vegetables, you know. So Harlem is a great place. Harlem is a beautiful place. LeeOlive Tucker is being modest. She is truly one of our Harlem icons, jazz diva. You know, she's been participating in several of the plays that have happened. One of Michael Green's plays. A lot of things going on. So, LeeOlive, do you want to share some other things that are going on in Harlem?
The next thing that I'm going to be doing after this concert on Sunday is that I'm going to be this is my part 2 of a tribute to a Black female icon. She was just made a member of the Hall of Fame, the Music Hall of Fame. Her name is Rose Marie McCoy, and I had the honor and pleasure of meeting her before she passed and became an ancestor. I met her back in about 2008 or 9 when Harlem Arts Alliance brought her to the fore, and we did a show at Symphony Space while she was alive to see her tribute called Right On, WRITE, Right On Rosie, because this woman between years 1954 and 1972 had more than 20 top 40 hits. She wrote the song Mama, He Treats Your Daughter Mean that Ruth Brown did. She wrote One Monkey Don't Stop No Show. She wrote Just a Teeny Weeny Bit, Just a Teeny Weeny Bit of Your Love. She wrote all of those.
All right, now.
She wrote some songs that the Shirelles and the and Mary Wells sang. She wrote songs that Nat King Cole and Elvis Presley sang. I mean, and then she just sort of faded into obscurity because she wasn't really savvy in terms of getting her rights and things. And she had a manager that was just sort of taking what he wanted and not telling her what she needed to do. And so when the money sort of ran out and she realized it was because of him, she got rid of him and just started living her life. As the kids say, life be life, and you got to keep up. So
does it ever?
She was living in a woman's residence, and she was working, I believe, in a corporate restaurant. You know how some buildings downtown, like the Pan Am building, had all these different corporate things, and they would have a corporate dining room, and it would be catered by a certain company. Well, Stouffer's was the company that was doing the catering. I think it was for A&M in their building. And this woman was one of the servers in the dining room. So this lady, Arlene Cusano, was an A&R rep for an artist, and she was coming there to make a contract for this artist. And so when this song came on the Muzak in the dining room, and the person who was serving her started singing, she said, "Oh, you've got a nice voice. Are you a singer? Because I'm doing A&R for A&M." And she said, "No, I'm not really a singer. I started out trying to be a singer, but I ended up being a songwriter." She said, "Really?" She said, "You got such a good voice. You're doing that song really well." She said, "I wrote it." She said, "You wrote it?" And she said, "Yes." And she told the lady her name. And she said, "Well, I'll be back next week because I have to finalize this contract." So she came back the next following week, and she had looked her up and saw that she had done records for all these little small record companies that were in the Brill building, the same place where Carole King was. Yes. And now she's got a show on Broadway, right? So she said, well, let me see what I can do. I'll get our lawyers to look into your past and what you've done and see what I could do to help you. Well, she came back and told her, well, listen, you had a bad manager. I had a bad marriage. I had a husband who was a lawyer, who wanted to be a lawyer. We got together when we were both in law school. I helped put him through law school. He decided he wanted a trophy wife. So I said, well, you can have a trophy wife. I'll keep the mansion. So she had a house over in Jersey that actually had a mother-in-law suite. And she told the woman, well, I'll help you until you can help yourself. And she took her out of where she was, took her over there. And I actually got to come over there to where she was living, met her, met the woman. Wow. And I was part of the first show that was done back in 2000, either 9 or 10, when Tumani was a baby, at Symphony Space called Right On Rosie. And at the end of the show, we sang this, we strutted out. It was 3 or 4 of us singers from Harlem Lawrence Alliance. And we strutted out to One Monkey Don't Stop No Show.
Okay. I love it, LeeOlive. So many stories.
So now we're going to do it again on July 20th. And it's going to be at the Salvation Army Theater here in Harlem.
Okay, excellent.
And it's going to be called Roses for Rosie. Okay. And Michael Green from Shades of Truth is writing a play, a little short, 15-minute thing that will talk about her life.
Yes.
And the young lady who was playing Emmett Till's mother in the play Mothers of the Movement is going to be playing her as a younger woman, and I'm going to be playing her as an older woman. And when I met her, I think she was actually around the age I am now. So it's really cool to play somebody that
a lot of serendipitous moments. Well, we thank you, LeeOlive Tucker, for all you do, all you keep involved with. And we are grateful that you were able to come on Harlem Network News and share things that are happening right here in Harlem. And as you said, the program at the Jackie Robinson Park is a community show. So you're welcome to come, enjoy, partake. And it's very important, especially with the politics of what's going on. And I want everyone, in fact, Harlem Network News is probably going to work on a special on the debate so we can really break it down and understand exactly what happened. There was a lot of reference by both candidates to Black people and Black jobs, and some people took Black jobs, but the inference was that the Black jobs that were available were all jobs of servitude. So we got to look at
that was the problem.
In terms of what are you really speaking about? Who are you really talking about? So I think it's very, very critical. And we also have to be mindful of a world when you stand for something and you speak truth to power, and the fact that that can actually take you out of your position.
Exactly.
So we have to look at that, and we got to rectify it. We've got much work to do.
Well, I have one more thing I want to
go right ahead, LeeOlive. I was
going to throw it right
back to you. Let's go.
Nama, 4th of July.
All
Backyard cookout. Fun and live music. Yovan Pierre and the band. Barbecue. $20 in advance, $25 at the door. Where in the world can you get a home-cooked, grill-cooked, healthy meal, sit in the sun and listen to live music under a tent with your peers in Harlem for $20 in advance, $25 at the door, and bring your own refreshments? Come on.
Okay. And let people know what
July 4th.
is. Let people know what is NAMA.
.org. New Amsterdam Musical Association, the oldest Black musicians union in the country. It was founded in 1905 by U.B. Blake, who put the first Black play on Broadway, Shuffle Along, and James Reese Europe, who brought jazz to Europe. If James Reese Europe had not formed the first jazz band the French ever heard during World War I, Josephine Baker would never have gone to Paris. And think of how the world would have been deprived, because if Paris had never heard of Le Jazz Hot, all the things that happened since then would never have happened. That one service community of Black soldiers over in France in 1917, going into 18, brought jazz to Paris and started the whole jazz revolution that made jazz the music of the world from the 1920s all the way to the 1950s.
Okay, well, I love it. This is Harlem Network News. Knowledge is power. And we always bring some knowledgeable folks on. And we are also looking to do our show as we always do to give you updates on the International African Arts Festival, which is starting next week and always crosses over the 4th of July. And that's right out there in Brooklyn at the park. And so please go on to the International African Arts Festival.com to their website. And I'm Terri Wisdom, and this is Harlem Network News. And we are grateful. And as she said, we're shouting out all the graduates. In fact, my granddaughter, London Lalibela Bess, graduated with honors at Southampton High School. And she did the opening speech of the land, just talking about the Shinnecock Nation and the land. My brother and the drum group, they drummed to open up the ceremony. The Young Blood Singers. So it was extremely powerful, and she will be attending in the School of Business, Howard University, HU. You know. So let's go. Let's go. My Howard mother and a grandmother. My grandson is a senior this year in computer engineering. Shout out to you, Messiah, for making it happen. And shout out to Abyssinian Baptist Church as they were scholarship recipients for the church. And, you know, we're going to also speak because the church has just elected a new minister, Reverend Johnson. So we're going to talk about all those things. It's blessings. Harlem Network News. Go to harlemnetworknews.org. Reach out to us at 646-261-5397. And you can also Zelle us, Cash App us. It's all Harlem Network News. This is how we continue to bring news and information to the community. And we are standing firm and we are standing strong. So thank you for that. And LeeOlive, we'll let you and Cheetah, Faithful, take us on out. Yeah. Let's go.
So come on out and have some fun with us. We love you. Happy summer.
Okay. Well, thank you, my dear. And it is truly a blessing always. And thank you for all you do for and the great inspiration. Peace and many blessings. Take care. Take care, y'all.
Thank you, Terri.
Thank you. Thank you, LeeOlive. Okay.
Love you, Harlem.
All right.